This is going to be one sick story. Not surprising, but very sick nonetheless. And I'm almost shocked that this is pretty much even public knowledge, but not to the point where it's so mainstream. But is definitely a legitimate article attached to it. And I'm reading this from the Washington Examiner. Now, you see on the screen it says immigration. This definitely plays a huge part in it. Now, the last time I think I did a video talking about immigration, it was talking about more so money. How I was saying how a lot of people don't like immigration until money is involved, and then they're all for it. Well, apparently there is something else that a certain group of people like immigration for, and that's more worse than the money. So apparently, in some kind of a loophole through immigration, they just okayed 8,686 child marriages. That means that there are some men from this establishment who are purchasing young girls as young as the age of 14 from other countries to be brought over here so they can quote unquote marry them and basically use them for sex. 8,686, that is a very large number, and that's probably as far as how many we know. It could be more than that. I'm going to go ahead and read this article coming from the Washington Examiner, and it's going to go and dive in a little bit more detail about this situation. A huge loophole in Washington's messy immigration laws has paved the way for over 8,000 child marriages, mostly to girls, brought in from the outside of the country, including 14-year-olds. In one case, a 71-year-old man won a visa for a 17-year-old from Guatemala, according to the bipartisan report from the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Reform Committee chaired by Republican Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson. Won a visa. Why? You know what it sounds like? It sounds like slavery. You know how when back in the day our ancestors had to be put on the auctioning block and they would bid on who did they want? This is exactly what it sounds like to me. The report, the product of a year-long investigation, puts attention on a quirk in policies that promote child marriages and trafficking in the U.S. at a time when the State Department is fighting child marriages overseas, where child marriages overseas is actually legal in some places. It also shines a light on the complicated and sometimes contradictory web of immigration laws that President Trump and some in Congress are trying to rewrite and reform. U.S. law and U.S. Department of State policy aim to prevent and reduce the risk of child marriages occurring around the world, yet major loopholes in the U.S. laws have allowed thousands of minors to be subjected to child marriages. Under the Immigration and Nationality Act, a U.S. child may petition for a visa for a spouse or fiancé living in another country, and a U.S. adult may petition for a visa for a minor spouse or fiancé living abroad. In total, the committee estimated that over the past 11 years, mostly under the Obama era, they had to throw that in there, 8,686 visas for child spouses or fiancés were approved. In 95% of the cases, the younger person was a girl. Many were from Latin America, and overall, more than 3 million of the spousal and fiancé visas were okayed over that time. The report had shocked many. Former First Daughter Chelsea Clinton tweeted, "Horrifying. U.S. approved thousands of child bride requests, yet not surprising that our immigration systems is complicit in supporting child marriage." Well, Chelsea Clinton, you really don't have a dog in this fight because your mom and your dad did some shady stuff involving Haiti. And do you think about the kids that were affected by that? You know, with them and the American Red Cross? No? Thought so. Let me continue. Some of those seeking visas were older citizens. Others were two very young citizens seeking to bring their spouses into the U.S., including those who were forced into marriage overseas and encouraged to bring their spouses to America. Said the report, USCIS awarded petitions to people with significant age differences, including a 71-year-old U.S. citizen petition for a 17-year-old spouse from Guatemala and a 14-year-old petition for a 48-year-old spouse from Jamaica. USCIS approved 149 petitions involving a minor with an adult spouse or fiancé who was more than 40 years old. In one case, the committee spoke with a U.S. citizen forced to marry her first cousin during a family vacation to Pakistan. USCIS approved her petition for a spousal immigration benefit for her cousin when she was 13 years old after she returned to the United States. She is just one of thousands of U.S. women and girls forced into a child marriage involving the U.S. immigration system. How the U.S. immigration system encouraged child marriages is what it was titled. Getting a visa for a spouse or fiance requires an approval from state and United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. The government does not require parental consent even if the petition for a visa is made by a minor. According to the report over the last 11 years, which is the fiscal year 2007 to the fiscal year 2017, USCIS approved 3,595,447 petitions for spousal or fiancé entry into the United States. Of those, 8,686 involved a minor. 2 minors whose petition were approved were 13 years old and later rejected. 38 were 14 years old. 269 were 15 years old. 1,768 were 16 years old. And the remaining 6,609 were 17 years old. That is crazy. So these people are putting in petitions to bring adults over, but out of all of those adults, they chose that 8,686 of them were children. And they try to say that the U.S. is this pinnacle of morality. And we don't even need to ask who the races of these individuals are who are doing this, because this has Carl Cassidy written all over it. Like, you would have to be dumb to think that it's anyone else but them. Don't expect them to put any names and faces out there. They probably keep that much confidential. Like, they're not going to put the person's name, the buyer, or the product, because that's really what I'm seeing them as. They're purchasing them as a product for sex, and most likely to probably be a housekeeper of some sort. This is like like I said, it's some transatlantic slave trade mixed with Christopher Columbus and all his shit, all rolled into one and then some. It's really, really sickening. It's just crazy, all the stuff that has come out just in this short amount of time since we've been in 2019. Y'all let me know what you think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. The links will be in the description. I will talk to you in the next one.